Welcome to the Studio Success Formula Podcast, the business school for dance studio owners. And now for your host, Clint Salter.
Hi there, dance studio owners. It's Clint here from Studio Success Formula. Thank you very, very, very much for joining us on today's episode. And today is one that has been requested from so many studio owners that I've been speaking with inside our association. And they're like, Clint, when are you doing this episode? When are you doing that episode? So I was like, right, I finally have to do this episode. And not only do it, I actually have to put something together that is going to help you as the studio owner, as the CEO of your studio, grow your business and communicate more effectively and efficiently with your parents and students. Any guesses what we're going to be talking about today? Today, I'm going to be sharing with you the 9 must-have inclusions that you need in your studio handbooks. I know when I started my dance studio, we did not have any studio handbooks. We kind of handed out a information sheet, a couple of pages when they signed up that was like, here you go, here's the information that you need. But these days, whoa, has that had to change? It had to change. I mean, even those years, those many years ago when I had my studio, we introduced studio handbooks. And now today we get so many questions about studio handbooks. We get questions like, Clint, no one's reading our studio handbooks and it's driving me insane. How do we get them to read them? People saying, what should we include? We've got teachers that are like turning up late to class. They're not well groomed. What should we put in our teacher handbooks? And when it comes to recital or concert time, parents coming up to us saying, where was that information? And I didn't know about that rehearsal and what's happening with costumes. And so people were saying, what should go in my recital and concert handbook? And so what I am so thrilled about is over the last 6 months here at the Dance Studio Owners Association, we've been writing 3 handbooks. It has taken us 3 months. Me and my team have been amazing in doing the research. We've been speaking to our thousands and thousands of dance studio owners that we talk to every week through our podcasts and through our newsletters. We've been finding out what is needed in your handbooks. What do you feel like is missing? How do you want it to be communicated? We've done so much research and we have finally released our 3 handbooks. So we have 3 handbooks completely done for you where you just plug and play. You put in your studio name. We give you so much information in these handbooks. And if you want to check out the handbooks, just go to dancestudiohandbooks.com. But in today's episode, I am going to walk you through the 9, not the mine, because that isn't a number, but the 9 must-have inclusions you need in your studio handbooks. And I've pulled out, there are so many, but I've pulled out the main ones that you need to be focusing on. Now, the first one is a big one. And you know what? I rarely see this being put into anyone's handbook. And that is your studio manifesto. And your studio manifesto really needs to reflect your core beliefs. It really is like the heart and soul of your studio. You need to talk about the values that you run your studio by. And it's going to take you a couple of hours. If you haven't already done this exercise, I know a lot of you already have your values set up and what you stand for and your mission and your aim. Some people include their mission statement in their studio manifesto, but it's like, what are you all about? And a couple of things to get you started. You can use words like we are committed to, we are passionate about, we care about, we love, we embrace, we stand for, we listen, we prioritize, we promise to, we value. Okay, so there's a couple of words to kind of get you started on how you would go about writing your studio manifesto. But it has to be, you have to read it. Like I want to be able to read your studio manifesto and go, that's what they're about. And I want to be a part of that. Or they've gotten it once they've enrolled and they're like, wow, this is what I'm a part of, this is pretty special. There's nothing else that I felt this way about before. I also love, side note, is studios who have their studio manifesto like on a wall. It's on a big canvas that they've had, printed, or they've had a great kind of artist come in and paint it on one of their walls in their studio. So every time someone's in their studio, your parents, your students, your teachers, your office staff, your suppliers, everyone gets to see your studio manifesto and what you stand for. It is so, so important. So that's number one. Number two is when we're thinking about your parent and student handbook, you've got to make sure that you really step out your registration process, because I think sometimes we take it for granted that all families just understand the registration process and exactly how it works. And I know a lot of families, some of them have been long-time families, but you've also got to remember that there are also brand new families, and they might feel it really overwhelming. And within the first 6 weeks of someone enrolling in our studio, that's when they're most likely to drop out. So we need to make sure that we should have a student onboarding process in place. But aside from that, in our handbooks, we need to make sure that we can really keep them calm, excited, know that we have their back, know that we are there for them if they have any questions. And so I just wanted to read to you, this is how we start in our handbooks that we've created. This is how we start the small section. It's not a small section, but how we start the section around registration. This is what we write. Before lacing up those jazz shoes, it's important that all students and or parents, whether returning or new, fill out and sign your registration paperwork so we can ensure we have the most up-to-date contact details for you. This information includes your registration form, media release form, so we can show off photos and videos of our amazing dancers in and around the studio, and your insurance contract. Our early bird registration offer not only means that you will, and this is where you insert whatever it is that you're giving if you offer early bird registration, so receive your free drink bottle, shirt, $10 discount voucher, go in the draw to win XYZ, but it also ensures that in the event of classes reaching capacity before the semester kicks off, you will be guaranteed a place in that class of your choice. You can register in person and take advantage of the early bird special then you'll insert your studio name anytime from, insert the dates, at our registration day on insert the date. And so that's just like a small part of how we start our registration section in our handbook. But what you will notice is that it's quite positive and it's upbeat. One thing that we really focus on with these handbooks that we've created is that it's all presented in a really positive, beneficial, uplifting way, not like like you've got the stick and you're saying, these are our rules. Pay your fees on time. We've got late fees. Pay your late fee. Pay your late fee. I read those studio handbooks and I'm like, I would not want to be a part of this studio. So that was number 2 about registration. Number 3 is around communication. So important, right? Great communication is crucial in the effective running of your studio, as well as keeping all of your customers happy, returning, and more importantly, referring. Well, not more importantly, because we want them to return and be happy, but we definitely want them referring. So we really recommend choosing only a couple of primary communication methods for your studio, as the more options you give, as you probably have witnessed, the more options you have for them to be checking up regularly and checking in and sending texts, and then there's more room for error and missing messages. So this is how we start the section about communication in our parent-student handbook. By now, you've probably noticed that we are big on communication here at Insert Your Studio Name. It is our promise to respond to all inquiries within 24 hours, and we will never leave a query unanswered. Our friendly office staff can be contacted at insert your number between the office hours or on this number. Give another number that you might have between insert your preferred hours. For convenience, our primary means of communication is via email. You will receive regular newsletters and important information via email, so please ensure you have provided the studio with an up-to-date email address that is regularly checked. We are, of course, happy to include multiple email addresses per family if you would like your correspondence sent to numerous recipients. We are also proud to provide you information round the clock via our very own Dance Studio app. You can download the app give them the link, just follow the prompts to install our app on your mobile device, and you'll receive alerts as they happen. So that's just, again, the beginning of how we talk about communication. And, one thing that we have done is we do give you different options in their handbook, so you can cut and paste things that work for you and don't work for you as well. Excuse me. Let's jump into number 4, which is studio goals. Now, this is the main point, one of the first things that you need to talk about in your teacher's handbook. Again, this is so often overlooked and it's not communicated to teaching staff efficiently. Don't forget that your teachers are the heartbeat of your studio, and in order for you to achieve your studio's goals, your teachers need to know what your goals and expectations are. Be really specific and really lay out your goals, your aspirations, and use them as a motivational tool to drive your staff forward throughout the entire year. Refer to this, measure them along the way, see how you're tracking, and communicate that to your staff. It's really important. So here are a couple of paragraphs that I've taken out from our handbooks. The first one's around enrollment. The second one is around retention. And you will notice that this is very, very transparent, which you need to be able to get your teachers on board. At the end of last year, we had 200 families enrolled in classes of all ages. By the same time this year, it is our goal to have over 250 families enrolled, therefore increasing our enrollments by 25%. As a member of our teaching staff, your role in helping to achieve this goal is by promoting our enrollment campaigns and creating hype within class. For example, chat with your students about our referral program and encourage them to bring their friends for Bring a Friend Week. Keep in mind that we always offer free trial classes for all ages, so if members of the community ask you about the studio or dance classes, this is a great talking point to drive enrollments. So it's the first bit about enrollments. Then let's move on to retention. Student retention can be one of our biggest challenges. We put a lot of time and effort into building a student base, and we share in your disappointment and frustration when families leave. The key to growing, thriving, the key to a growing, thriving, and successful studio is to have students that come back year after year. Based on last year's number, we retained 70% of our enrolled students. This year, our goal is to boost that rate to 80%. In order to achieve this goal, our teaching staff needs to remain engaged, enthusiastic, and connected with every student. All students need to feel welcomed and appreciated and look forward to attending your classes. You also need to maintain open communication with your students and their families to address any issues that may come up through the year. At times, you may be asked to make phone calls to families as part of your role in retaining our students. And so there you can see just 2 examples, one about enrollment, one about retention, that showcases that teachers need to focus on these areas. It shines a light on enrollment and retention, and they're not only there just to teach the classes, but it's done in a very positive way. All right, let's jump on to number 5, and that is all about safety. Something as well that is so important in our studios, and this is something that needs to go into your teacher's handbook, but I don't see it explained very well. And so this is, again, I'm going to read you a snippet, and I hope this is providing to be helpful, just getting the clogs kind of turning. I'm going to provide you with a little snippet from our safety section of our teacher's handbook. With the safety of our staff and families a number 1 priority, insert your studio name, is very serious about upholding child protection laws and policies within the studio, as well as at public performance performances and in the online arena, website and social media. It is your responsibility as a teacher to let us know immediately of any hazards such as spills, leaks or sharp objects within the studio that may result in an accident or injury. Students and staff must leave any food or drink other than bottled water in the staff or student waiting area and not in the performance space. Any high-risk activities such as acrobatic tricks, aerial stunts or cheerleading tosses may only be performed under the full supervision of the class teacher and must use protective equipment such as crash mats, harnesses or padding. It is your responsibility as an educator not to allow students to attempt dangerous tricks that are beyond their capabilities. So that's just a little section there that we talk about safety, and you would go on into all of the other areas of safety within your studio, which we cover in the handbook. But safety is a really important one. All right, number 6, still with your teacher's handbook, is important dates. And while your teachers and your staff members may not be required to attend all the events, it's important that they are giving your studios important dates as early as possible in the year to allow time to plan for them. It also keeps them up to date with studio happenings and allows them to come to class and be able to follow up with clients about the events that they have been involved with. So some examples of some important dates that you need to put into your handbooks are, registering for classes, fundraising events, parent and teacher meets at the studio, bring your child to get measured for, recital, concert costumes, when payments are due, any dance competitions that you're doing, any exams that you're doing, and obviously any recital key dates. All up, there are about 20 important dates that most studio owners need. So it's important you list all of them out and whether or not your teachers are required to attend them. Also, if they are required to attend them in your teacher contracts, you should have whether they are paid for those that extra time, which I highly suggest, or that you pay them a higher hourly rate regularly to cover the time that they spend at those events. So number 7 is just your general recital and concert information. And this is what kicks off your recital and concert handbook. So let's kind of jump in and I'll walk you through our first paragraph in the handbook. And I just want you to get how we have positioned this, because so many people studio owners have difficulty around commitment of recitals. People don't want to do them, they do. And so this is how we've worded it. The opportunity to perform in a recital or concert is an exciting, empowering, and confidence-building part of the training process. This is where we love to watch our students learn about theatre, rehearsals, and teamwork while they enjoy the opportunity to showcase their skills in a professionally run production. Recitals and concerts are a wonderful way for students to showcase the results of their hard work and for family and friends to join in the pride of their achievement. We love giving all students the chance to perform for their family and friends in this supportive and fun environment. Encourage even our youngest and newest performers to be involved. If there is any reason why your child would not be able to perform at the concert or recital on the dates and times provided in this handbook, please let us know so we can make amendments to class routines involving them. Right? So it's just the beginning that's really saying you should do recital or concert. It is amazing. It is a great opportunity. Here are the benefits. But if not, please let us know. Okay. So another thing that you want in your recital and concert handbook is about rehearsals. And we all know with rehearsals, recital rehearsals, this is the day where everything that can go wrong will go wrong. But it really is an opportunity to see what does and doesn't work, to make the changes and make the adjustments before it's showtime. Now, for new parents particularly, it can be a little bit confusing as to why their child needs to attend a rehearsal, what do they need to bring, and so clarifying this up front and reiterating it during your classes, referring back to their handbook, is super, super important. So again, let me read you our first little paragraph around rehearsals in the recital and concert handbook. Here at insert your studio name, dress and technical rehearsals are a super important part of preparing for our recital. This is where we get to see the costumes working on stage in a group to really complement the dances that your child have been working so hard on throughout the year. It gives us a chance to make any adjustments and ensure that everyone has time to get ready between their dances. We can see if any costumes are missing hair pieces or need to be taken in by our experienced costume designers. Even more important, it gives the stars of our show a chance to get up and rehearse on the big stage, a very different environment that they are used to within the studio walls. They can overcome some of the jitters that may hit when the bright lights come on and really prepare themselves for the show ahead. It is a fun and rewarding experience and a great chance to play with their friends and watch some inspiring dancers as they wait for their turn in the spotlight. How cool does that sound, right? I want to be a part of this recital. But you see how the way we communicate it is very different than saying, you've got to come to rehearsal, here are the hours. That's when you start getting backlash. And so when you present everything around the benefit of taking the action, you're going to have a lot more people jump on board with what you're saying and just create a better environment within your studio. Lucky last is, must have number 9 is your recital and concert procedures. So here, this is really about the outline the policies and procedures around your recital. And these might be specific, by venue to your studio, contractors, including photographers, security guards, cleaning staff, who you get involved. And so this is how we talk about this part in the recital and concert handbook. As always, the safety of our dance family is our number 1 priority. When students arrive at the rehearsal and recital or concert, they will be signed in by a parent or guardian and must be signed out when it's time to leave. Students are not permitted to leave the venue while the rehearsal and recital is running. No student is to leave the backstage area during interval. No exceptions. Our, insert your studio name, staff and registered parent helpers are permitted backstage. We are unable to run messages or food to students, so please make sure they have everything before they come backstage for rehearsal and the recital. Please try not to bring anything valuable, especially electronic devices. Mobile phones are not to be taken backstage or in the changing areas during the concert. Our studio and the venue will not be responsible if any item is damaged, misplaced, stolen, or lost. So that is a direct message, and so that is getting down to business in the policy part, of that handbook. Now, our handbooks are big and very detailed. So like I said, if you want any more details about the handbooks we've put together, go and check them out, dancestudiohandbooks.com, and you'll see there our student parent handbook, our teacher handbook, and our recital concert handbook that you can gain access to. So go and check it out. And if you've got any questions, please let us know. So I hope that was helpful today. The 9 must-have inclusions that you need. I know a lot of you currently have handbooks, so I hope that was helpful. If you don't have a handbook, or 3, which I suggest that you do have, make sure you jump onto them straight away, or simply head over to our page, dancestudiohandbooks.com, and you can grab a pack of ours that you can just use in your studio and tailor it for you. But it saves you hours and hours and hours putting together your own and dealing with all of the issues around parents, students, and teachers that happen when we don't have the right type of handbooks in place in our studio. So thank you for joining me today. Hope you were managing with all of that reading and you took some great notes. Have an amazing week, and I look forward to chatting with you next time on the podcast. Got a great interview coming up for you. Take care. See you really soon. Bye for now.
Are you enjoying the Studio Success Formula podcast? Then we'd love for you to share the love. We want to help more dance studio owners become go-to studios, so we'd greatly appreciate you writing us a review on iTunes. For taking the time out to do so, every month, Clint will be selecting one lucky dance studio owner to receive a Power Business Coaching session. Simply visit the iTunes store today, search for Studio Success Formula, click on ratings and reviews, and then write your review. Thanks in advance. Take care, and we'll see you next time.